Elon Musk had a full-on conniption fit and went on a hate-filled rant on Twitter after the commander of the International Space Station called him out for his lies. And I just know it tears Elon crust up to get roasted like this in front of everybody by an actual aerospace engineer, seeing as he likes to call himself one, but he's really just a rich guy who never sees his kids. Where I come from, we call that a deadbeat dad. I'll show you guys some context for why the astronaut called Elon Musk a liar, and then I'll show you his slur-filled rant. It is absolutely the most unhinged I've seen Elon so far. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody upped their ketamine prescription. But before we dive into it, I want to remind you guys to like the video if you're liking the video, and make sure to subscribe. Every sub is a signature on the petition to give Elon what he always wanted, a one-way trip to Mars.
I'm definitely gonna die up here.
Some of you may be unfamiliar with the situation concerning these two astronauts here. You might have heard a smattering of things explaining why they're up there, but I'll just let them explain the situation.
And why can't you leave sooner? I mean, what will happen between now and March 12th when you're expected to depart?
We bring crews to and from space station. We have a cycle of period of time where those things take place, and to alter that cycle sends ripple effects all the way down the chain. We would never expect to come back just special for us or anyone unless it was a medical issue or something really, really out of the circumstances along those lines. So we need to come back and keep the normal cycle going.
These astronauts, heroes, badasses, whatever you want to call them, Butch and Sunny, they were only supposed to be up there for 8 days, but there was some sort of issue with the return shuttle that had to come back by itself. So instead of launching some big rescue mission where there didn't need to be, they pushed the date of their return back to a later shuttle. This is essentially like missing a train. You don't just call a new train to come get you immediately. You wait until the next scheduled train and you wait in the interim. It's not that big of a deal. They have clothes, they have food, they have water, they have work to do. There's other people up there. It's not like they're just alone. They're trying to spin this narrative out of whole cloth that the Biden administration left these astronauts in space for political reasons because they didn't want Elon to get a win, even though they're gonna come back on a SpaceX rocket, just not right now.
You're understanding you'll be brought home on a SpaceX spacecraft?
That's affirmative, yes. Right now, the plan is that Crew 10 will launch on the 12th of March. They'll come here, rendezvous and dock. We'll do a turnover for about a week, and we will return, I don't know, about the 19th of March.
During President Musk and his lapdog Trump's little interview with Sean Hannity, they attempted to spread this conspiracy.
You're committed to getting to Mars. You're committed to rescue. You're going to help rescue next month 2 astronauts that I think were abandoned. They dispute that in an interview.
At the president's request or instruction, we are accelerating the return of the astronauts, which was postponed kind of to a ridiculous degree.
They got left in space.
They've been there. They were supposed to be there 8 days. They're there almost 300.
Biden.
They were yes, they were left up there for political reasons, which is not good.
Okay, it's not good.
I think it's hilarious the way Trump goes, Biden here, as if Biden was just this massive fuck-up that was causing economic collapse and destroying all of our foreign relations. Oh wait, that's him. And this claim that they're abandoned and need to be rescued is disputed directly by the astronauts themselves.
Again, I know you've been asked this question before, but do you feel you've been abandoned?
We don't feel abandoned. We don't feel stuck. We don't feel stranded. I understand why others may think that. We come prepared. We come committed. That is what your human spaceflight program is. It prepares for any and all contingencies that we can conceive of, and we prepare for those. So if you'll help us change the rhetoric, help us change the narrative, let's change it to prepared and committed, vice what you've been hearing. That's what we prefer.
So when this claim made its way to Twitter, a lot of people in the aerospace community jumped on this to call out the misinformation. This post used to have community notes on it, and this is what it said. The astronauts were scheduled to return in February, but that has been delayed to late March due to testing of SpaceX Crew 10. The Crew 9 mission was reduced to 2 astronauts to leave room for Sunny and Butch. That ship arrived in August, and all astronauts have a return ship on the ISS. Like I said before, they're not up there alone. Instead of doing a whole new mission and spending millions of dollars just to get 2 astronauts back, they just open up 2 seats on the next shuttle, which is scheduled to return in March. There are no astronauts that were abandoned for political reasons. But fragile Elon Crust can't have community notes calling him out, so he personally removed it and said this: "This community note is false. SpaceX could have brought the astronauts back last year, but Biden pushed the return past the inauguration date. Legacy media is not a reliable source. It's not legacy media that this information is coming from, it's the astronauts themselves. They said no to Elon staging some stupid rescue PR stunt where he wastes millions of taxpayer dollars to get these astronauts back now, as if there's some pressing reason why. The only thing that comes from this is that these astronauts get to spend more time in space. That's awesome. I'm sure they're loving the fact that they get to spend over 300 days in space instead of the 8 that was scheduled. Astronauts love being in space. That's kind of the whole thing. And one astronaut wasn't about to take this laying down. Here's Andreas Mogensen, astronaut from Denmark and former commander of the ISS. In response to these comments by Musk and Trump, he said, "What a lie." And from someone who complains about lack of honesty from the mainstream media. Honestly, I think Elon's right about the mainstream media lying. He just forgets that Twitter is mainstream media and he is a liar. And this is where we get to Elon Musk completely melting down. We're talking about somebody who's pseudo the second in command of the entire country and the richest man in the world. And this is the way he's talking to and responding to an actual astronaut. You are fully R-worded. SpaceX could have brought them back several months ago. I offered this directly to the Biden administration and they refused. Return was pushed back for political reasons. Idiot. Look, I don't know if Elon made a stinky in his diaper or he's just pissed off about the new baby we all just found out about, but this dude is completely unhinged. There is no way he's sitting here calling an actual astronaut the R word in front of everybody. These statements right here should be absolutely disqualifying for anybody to hold a position in the government, let alone the guy who gets to decide what gets cut. And Astro Andreas' response here is a lot more professional than mine would have been. Elon, I have long admired you and what you have accomplished, especially at SpaceX and Tesla. I don't know what he's admiring, but I suggest he stops that right now. You know as well as I do that Butch and Sunny are returning with Crew 9, as had been the plan since last September. Even now, you are not sending a rescue ship to bring them home. They are returning on the Dragon capsule that has been on ISS since last September. And it wasn't long after this argument that Elon tweeted this: "It is time to begin preparations for deorbiting the space station. It has served its purpose. There is very little incremental utility. Let's go to Mars." Again, nobody wants to go to Mars. It's a dead, hot, red rock. If you wanted that, go to Arizona and leave the rest of us out of it. But on top of that, the space station already has plans to be decommissioned. So it's curious that Elon wants to accelerate the decommissioning of the space station right after getting in and losing a very public argument with an astronaut on the space station. Are you suggesting that the International Space Station be deorbited prior to 2030? As you know, SpaceX currently has a contract to build the US deorbit vehicle to safely bring the station down in 2030. Elon responds with, "The decision is up to the president, but my recommendation is as soon as possible. I recommend 2 years from now." Of course you recommend 2 years from now, because you want to 1, punish the astronauts for defying you, 2, get that sweet, sweet government contract as soon as you possibly can, and 3, have that big PR stunt that you didn't get to have last year. When the richest man on earth is calling our most valued and respected members of society the R word and trying to ruin their lives, we have officially entered an oligarchy. I hope you guys have your pitchforks shined up and ready to go because these folks are coming after everyone. I'm Tony Hinderman with Really American, and I'll catch you next time.